If you make boom bap beats like me and usually use your stock sample editor like Ableton Simpler or FL's Fruity Slicer, then honestly you've been living in the dark ages. I've recently finally upgraded to something much better, and now that I've used it for a few days, I don't know how I ever lived without it. So in case you've been living under a rock, I'm going to show you what it is, how to use it, and see if we can make a fire beat with it. And make sure you stay tuned to the end, because I found a resource of soul samples that will give you enough material to flip for the next 20 years. So let's dive straight into it. So if you haven't figured it out, of course the sample editor I'm talking about is Serato Sample. So what we're going to do is try to make a cool, simple boom bap beat, and I'll show you some of the useful features in there that will just make your workflow a lot easier. Now for the sample, I'm going to use something that's very famous. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst was sampled from this track, and it's got so much good material in there that I want to try it for myself. So previously I would just take it, drag it down into the MIDI track, and you can see the device. I would just go to slice, and then I would mess around with the sensitivity, or I would slice it by, you know, beat instead and just mess around with it. And to be honest, this worked pretty well, especially as a beginner with sampling. You've got enough things here that you can change to like make it a bit more interesting and different, you know, transposing it, changing how you slice it up and whatnot. But now using Serato Sample, I've been able to have so much more control over my chops. So we'll drag this into Serato and I'll show you what I mean. So we've got the sample loaded up, and the first thing is it's figured out the key signature, which is really useful. Usually I just have to work it out by playing a piano on top and working out which key it's in. It tells you the BPM, and it's synced to my BPM, which is 80 at the moment. Then you can instantly mess around with the tuning, transpose it, pretty standard stuff, or even unsync it and mess about with the timing as well, which is a really useful feature. But what I'm going to do is click this Find Samples button. So we click that, and now Serato is just going to try to find what it thinks is going to be the best sampleable stuff, if that's a word. So it's chopped it up, mapped it out to the keyboard, what it thinks the best samples are, and now we can give it a try. And it's worth noting that at the top we've got these things selected mono. We can change it to poly if we want multiple notes hit at the same time. And this, which basically means you have to hold it down to trigger it, or this, it will just play through. So we can see it's chopped it up quite a lot. There's some really cool stuff there already. And then once we've found something that we like, so I like this one. So we see it's this note here, the G, and I can just favorite it. And it now puts a star there, so we know which ones we want to use. Now the cool thing is, individually, each of these chops, once we've selected it, we can change all these different things like the level, the filter, attack, release, but then time stretching and key shifting that individual chop is so useful, and it's so easy to do this way. So the time stretch especially is something I've been using a lot, where like I like the sound of this, but I want to drag it out a bit or maybe stretch it, and then the next one is sped up, so you can get some really cool minute like editability. I think that's another made up word, and that just makes it really cool to completely transform something into your own. Oh, okay, so this one, let's move it back a bit. And now let's say this note, I want to stretch it a bit. So we've got the time stretch here, we can go down incrementally like that, or we can just literally half time. And we can key shift it as well, and it's just that chop. So now we can do something really interesting where some bits are sped up, some bits are slowed down, and the same with the reverse. We can find another bit, instant textures. So that's the first easy, cool way to use it. Let's say I want to change the chops completely. We can select all, throw them all away. And then if we click this drop down box, we can set random. So this is a similar sort of thing. If we press that, it's just randomly chopping it throughout. And that makes it even more unique because it's random. You know, it's not going to find the best bits. It's going to just be random, and you can string together stuff that is really just not expected, if that makes sense. Not the obvious parts of the sample. Let's detune the whole sample a little bit. So that could work for something like really dark boom bap vibes before it gets to that next note. So before it gets to that, so like this note here, now let's key shift it and see if we can make it something that goes like harmonically with the previous chop. So we've got these 3 notes now that we can just play in any order, and it's like a cool chop. Let's record this in something basic, because then we can do the drums as well in Serato. So let's say we like that, but we want to edit it. We can still edit it in Serato and like literally detune it. Cool, so we've got a sample chop. Now we need to add some boom bap drums, and of course Serato is really good for this as well. Let's just open up another instance. So for the break, I'm going to use this Clyde Stubblefield break. So we dragged it in, and this time all we're going to do is set slicer, and now we can choose how the slicers are set. So let's say half notes like that, and you can see it's instantly chopped it up, and then we could change it down to quarter, half, whole notes. So obviously my timing isn't great, but you can find the bit that sounds best and just loop that over and over. So now just looking how we can affect the sample, let's EQ out the lows so we've got room for the bass. And then maybe an RC20. Then let's throw in a bass guitar just to add a bit more depth, because we've EQ'd out the lows on the sample. Cool, we've added a bass. Let's add another melodic layer maybe, see if we can complement this sample chop. Little organ is always pretty nice, and we'll duplicate that and do another sound from that same Analog Lab bank, maybe a violin or something. Nothing too overpowering. Let's just mute those drums for a second because they are not great. Let's see if we can fix those drums to be a bit better. Let's just drag in this break to use for like the high end of the drums. And now in Serato we've got this drum break chopped up. And let's just layer in simple kick and snare really. So yeah, hopefully that's shown you how cool Serato Sample is. This original sample has obviously led to Sing About Me and Dying of Thirst, which is a whole different vibe, but because of the power that you've got at your fingertips with Serato, you can really make something unique from anything. Last but not least, I mentioned a resource for getting lots of soul samples. Well, I've been digging through Reddit trying to find soul samples, and I found this page which has got so many different like YouTube channels that have soul tracks, some funk, some psych, some disco, gospel, whatever. I've checked out quite a few of them and I've got literally as many tracks as I need to sample for the next decade. So I'll put the link in the description, check it out. Happy digging, happy flipping. And if you want to see a video of me chopping a sample the old way, which led to a fire beat, check out this video right here.